See, we've talked about the education system, we talked about universities, we talked about the economy. How about science? People think science. Leo, we can turn to science as the arbiter of truth. That's how we know what's really true, is that it all sort of percolates down from science. Science is the ultimate authority source. Yeah? Well, what justifies science as authority? How do you know science is valid? Have you actually done any science in your life? No. All the science you know is just beliefs that you've accepted from authority figures. That is the case. And the majority of science that most professional scientists know, so-called know, is just also something they got from other authority figures. In fact, that is the sort of game of science. The reason scientists are so conservative and try to be so rigorous and are so fearful of pseudoscience and other sorts of woo nonsense is because their entire careers and reputations depend upon the authority and the credibility that they're able to maintain. In a sense, scientists are like women. They have to pretend to be virgins because their survival depends upon it. Because no guy wants to marry a slut. So even if a woman is a slut, she has to pretend like she's a virgin. Well, a scientist the same way, you know. So scientists play this game their entire lives where they are trying to be very, very careful not to say something too outrageous, because if they say something too outrageous, they go too far out on a limb, it's going to destroy their entire reputation. If a scientist is disproven one too many times, if they publish one too many research articles which gets disproven or debunked, there goes their entire career. So see, this gives them a very conservative bias. And the reason they need to do that is because deep down, science is built upon, because it's impossible for one individual scientist to do all of the science experiments himself. Impossible. They're too difficult, too much technical expertise is required, and too much time and too much money. So what's required is that we distribute this problem over thousands of individual scientists. So one scientist does one research study, another scientist does another research study, and then we can share the studies, across each other, and then we can both, as though, have knowledge of both studies by only having done one of them. That's how science fundamentally works, except we're doing this thousands of times and distributing this across thousands of different individuals. But you see, the more you distribute it, the less validation there is of every individual study. So if you take any university professor or scientist and ask them, how many studies have you actually personally validated in your own life? It's going to be a handful. 5, 10, 20 at most. And then you ask them, but how many studies do you cite and take as truth and use to build up your worldview? They will have to admit it's going to be thousands. Thousands and thousands and thousands of studies. So see, thousands of them are taken on faith, and then 5 or 10 are actually validated personally by that individual. And this is happening across the board. And then that is getting percolated down through the social matrix, down the hierarchy chain. The authority, the link juice sort of flows downwards, and it infects the minds of every university student, who then goes on, because the university students, they become the next generation of teachers. Then any corruptions or errors that the scientists had, they percolate down into the university students. Then those university students percolated down into the school system all the way down to the kindergarten level. And then, of course, people who go to these universities, they become the politicians. They become the CEOs. They become the managers, the business leaders. They become the next generation of teachers, of professors, of internet entrepreneurs. All these people, generally, they went to university. All of this is constructing within the mind a sense of reality. And by the way, as all of this is going on, nobody in this system is questioning what's going on at the epistemic level. The word epistemology is not even mentioned in the majority of classes, books, and even scientific discussions. Many scientists will treat questions of epistemology or metaphysics derisively, as though this is some sort of frivolous armchair philosophy and speculation, and that science doesn't need epistemology, science doesn't need metaphysics. This is the general attitude. And then the attitude is even worse outside the university system. If you start talking about metaphysics or epistemology to a CEO or to a business person or to a marketing person or to a politician or to a person running a nonprofit organization or to one of these tech entrepreneurs at Google or the guy running Wikipedia or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, you start talking to them about epistemology, they don't care at all. That word is not in their worldview. It is not in their lexicon. Much less metaphysics. They don't care about metaphysics. They don't care about truth. All of these people are participating in a game of survival. They care about their bank accounts. They care about their children and their family. They care about their friends. They care about entertainment and having fun, and they care about sex, and they care about buying fast cars and yachts, and they care about being famous. And they care about making progress and breakthroughs in their technical work. They don't care about truth. They don't care about epistemology. They don't care about metaphysics. They don't even basically care about society as a whole. They're not holistic thinkers. They're only concerned with their business. You know, the people at Google are only concerned about Google. They're not concerned about the whole world. They're not concerned about the entire epistemic framework that is informing all of mankind. They don't care about that. The professors in their university at Harvard, they don't care about the health of the entire ecosystem of the education system. They don't care about that. They care about Harvard. And even there, it's probably even more local than just caring about Harvard. Most of the professors at Harvard probably only care about their little department within Harvard. If you're a physicist at Harvard, you don't care about all of Harvard. You only care about physics, the physics department. And even there, you might not even care about the physics department. You might only care about the, like the nuclear physics department. If you're a nuclear physicist, you might only care about that sub field. And you might only care about your own personal work and the research paper you're going to publish next quarter, and not even your little department. And you certainly don't take any responsibility for the epistemic ecosystem of all of society. If you're a professor, scientist, PhD, researcher, CEO, business owner, educator, teacher, celebrity, public intellectual, entertainer, artist, filmmaker, musician, you're not taking responsibility for the entire social matrix. You don't even know this is a thing.